I was not planning on making a third video at all, but I received so much support and girls telling me their stories, obviously, like, between me and whoever messaged me, and even other people too that are like, "Oh, I wasn't in your situation, but I was in a different one, not related, but I still related to the things you said," which was super cool that I was able to touch more than one category of people, if that makes, I don't want to say category. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, touch more people than I was expecting to. That's what I want to say. I have gotten so many messages, so that's why I decided to make this video to just talk about the process of everything. And this shouldn't be like as long, but I figured it would be a good idea to come on here and make this video for people in a current SA situation, or if this happens to someone else in the future and they don't know what to do. If it's like, I feel like by making this video, it'll help people have a clear understanding of like how the process works, or at least how the process worked for me. I told my parents what happened, and they were like, "You need to go to the police." And like I said, if you've been keeping up with the videos I posted, I was friends with this person and I wasn't mentally ready to come forward. I hadn't processed anything yet. So I was like, I can't do that. Like, he's my friend, like all this stuff. What about work? Like, we all work together. I don't know what to do. I ended up calling the police. The police came over. Two women showed up and they were recording me, and I didn't know that, but I'm not stupid, so I assumed so until they like told me, but I'll get to that in a second. So they came over. It was obviously kind of tense just because they knew why they were getting called out. So they came over. I had to tell them what happened to me, which was really hard because like I just kept having to relive it. And that's another thing about coming out, is that you have to be okay with reliving the situation a bunch of times because you're gonna have to tell it a bunch of times. So I told them, and then they were like, "Okay, well, we need to go out to our car." I didn't know what that meant. I thought they were just gonna look at his record, and then I didn't know what was gonna happen. I'd never been in this situation before, so I really had no clue. So they come back in, and the lady, the one cop, she was so cool. And also the stereotypes of cops, I was like, they're not gonna believe me. Like, this is a waste of time. Nothing's gonna come from this. This is already humiliating, and now I have to sit here and talk to cops about it. So when they went to their car and then they came back in, the one cop was so cool. So she was like, "By the way, my mic's turned off." And she like told me that. And she was like, "This guy's a piece of shit," basically. And she was like, "We really, really think you need to press charges." And I kept asking what the difference between a report and like charging was, because they kept saying, "Oh, you can either file a report or you can press charges." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to press charges," type of thing. So they explained that if I only file the police report, then that means that only the city that I live in can see it. So if he goes and does this in like, I don't know, Georgia, then the Georgia police won't be able to see that he did something to me, if that makes sense. So I freaked out and I was like, okay, I'll press charges to help other people, not really knowing what was going to come with it. I had text messages. Long story short, after the assault happened, he kept trying to talk to me, and I was sick to my stomach all day. It was eating me alive. I felt guilty for some reason. I thought it was my fault. So I texted him and I was like, "I kept telling you to stop and you wouldn't. Like, please don't contact me ever again. Like, please just don't talk to me." So then he texted me back basically saying, "I'm sorry," all this stuff, which was a submission of guilt, mind you. So I ended up blocking him on everything. After he sent that text, I blocked him on literally everything. Because I just like seeing his name, it made me want to throw up. So I had to show those text messages to the cops, and I had to email it to one of them. And then they told me that they were going to have an investigator look at it to determine if I could press charges or not, or like go through with it. So I was at work the next day. I'm obviously still sick to my stomach, and when I get really anxious, I can't eat anything. So my eating has been pretty messed up ever since August. But Sorry, I like keep blanking out. These videos have been really hard for me to make, but it's been helping people, so I'm just gonna put as many videos out there as I feel like is necessary. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I was at work. I get a call from an unknown number. So I answer it, and the lady's like, the investigator looked at everything, I guess listened to everything I said. They said it's enough to press charges. He is going to be charged with sexual battery as long as you're okay with continuing and going forward with this process. So I was like, can I just think about it? Like, I don't know, like still really panicky. And she was basically told me, no, not really. And she was basically like, no, I'm sorry, you don't really have time, like you need to tell me now. So I said, yeah. And then he got arrested August 23rd. They called me and told me that. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know when it happened, but they called me anyway. Even though I didn't tell them that, I told my mom. I don't know why I thought they were going to call my mom. But yeah, so they called me. I was at work too. I never call out unless I'm obviously like super sick or something, but I've always been hardworking. I don't call out. I'll like tough it out even if I don't feel good. Yeah, mind you, because I worked so many freaking hours at Piper's. I worked like 60 to 70 hours. Not, I wouldn't say 70, but it was close. I worked between like, I'd say between 50 to 70 hours a week, every week. So yeah, I found out at work. I was freaking out. I think I started crying. I think I snapped myself out of it pretty quick. I just don't really, I don't know. It was stressful. And I talked to one of our owners, and because he was there, he works like the lunch shifts. So I was like, I'm like freaking out, dude. Like, I'm really not okay. And so then I got to go home, luckily. Ryan, actually, the one I talked about in my last video, I think it was him that he stayed and worked my shift for me. God bless his soul, because I mentally I couldn't do it. Okay, so then after that, he got arrested, whatever, found out my manager bailed him out of jail. That was its whole other terrible thing on its own. And then I had my first court date on December 1st. So my best friend Sarah, along with a handful of other people, including my family, came. Another one of his victims came with her family. She never pressed charges or anything. It happened a while ago, but she came with me with her parents, who are freaking awesome. I love them to death. That was a stressful day because it was towards the end of the year. So I guess they were all getting promotions and stuff. So the DA I was originally working with got moved up to something else. So I got a new DA who didn't really know my situation that well. And she did try really, really hard to be accommodating. And I know there were a lot of emotions. I started crying because I remember asking, they pulled me in a separate room and they said, you can bring in whoever else you want. And I was like, bring everybody. Everybody deserves to know this, needs to hear this. Bring everybody. That's why I brought people with me in the first place. So she was going over the plea deal with me because he agreed to sign one. She started telling me everything on the plea deal. And then she said after 12 months on supervised probation, if he doesn't get in trouble, it'll go away. And at that point, I started crying, and I was like, I literally want to start crying again because I was like so emotional and I was so upset because I felt like doing all of this and coming forward was for no reason. So I looked at her and I was like, so you're telling me that nobody is going to be protected if he does go this 12 months without getting in trouble again? And she was like, essentially, yeah. And then I started crying. Everybody was pissed. I felt bad for her because it wasn't her fault. Like, she was new to my case. So then she called in the original DA that I had, and he explained everything, and he was like, no, like, that's not it. He was like, if he goes 12 months without getting in trouble, it'll be on his, like, criminal record, I guess, that only the police can see. But, like, if he gets a background check for a job, they won't be able to see that, which still kind of feels like it's defeated the purpose for me because he has already previously been arrested before. But he got it expunged, so his record is technically clean now, so that's why he was able to get, like, a lesser punishment. I guess that's just like the court system for you. Where do we go from there? That was a terrible day. The rest of my day was ruined. I tried not to let it ruin my day, but it really did. So then, the next court date was January 2nd, and he didn't show up. And I was sitting there in the courtroom. I saw his lawyer. I saw his lawyer pull out a piece of paper. On the piece of paper was one of those stupid ass at-home COVID test kits. No name was attached at all. I guess it just said, whoever put their spit on this, they had COVID. So he was able to not have to show up to that court day because he had a positive COVID test, which I don't want to say he's lying, but at the same time, it felt pretty convenient to drag it out. But I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm tough. I don't care. I will wait. I literally will wait as long as possible until this is seen through. I didn't care. And I heard people tell me and people would just tell me things because at Piper's, it's like if you told one person one thing, then everybody else knew type of thing, which is like, I feel like very common at most restaurants. But yeah, so people kept telling me stuff. Someone was like, oh yeah, this isn't going to be a thing anymore in a year, and he's just going to keep trying to drag it out. But in my head, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Okay, drag it out as long as you have to. I'm going to fight through this. I don't care. Like, I don't care what it puts on me mentally. I will figure it out. I am strong enough to deal with this, and I'm going to see it through. Which I did. So it was a August, September, October, November, December, January, February. It was a 6-month thing to see through. By the way, just to give you a heads up of like how long the process can take. So that was a waste of time on January 2nd. So then fast forward to February 17th, he wasn't there again. And it was me and my mom and somebody else. And one of the other DAs that was just working in the courtroom that day, I wish I got her name. She's so sweet. But she looked at me and she was like, you're here. He's not here. If his lawyer asked me for another extension or whatever, I'm telling them no. Like, it's not happening. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like, really, thank you. So then like 20 minutes later goes by. And she's like, so he's here to sign the plea deal. And I was like, okay, cool. I mean, it's good, but she also told me that if he didn't show up, it would be a FTA, failure to appear. And I was like, okay, well, before he even signs the freaking plea deal, he's already violated his supervised probation or whatever. I mean, not technically, that's just how I felt in my head at the time. Because I was like, damn, he like literally already screwed up without even signing the plea deal yet. But he showed up, he signed the plea deal. And then, I know I already said this in my other video, but I feel like I should read it again, just in case people didn't see it. Or for girls that are going through something similar and decide to do the same thing. So he was in the courtroom, and there were other people in the courtroom too. It was like through traffic court, so it was people that have gotten in trouble for like possession of like marijuana or like traffic violations and stuff. So my DA came in and I told her, I was like, I have a victim impact statement. Like, I was asked if I wanted to write one, and I didn't really want to at first because I didn't think he deserved to hear anything I had to say, but I wrote one. So she came up to me and she asked if I had it, and it was this piece of paper, like, folded up. And in my head, I thought some of the things I wrote were kind of harsh, so I asked her to read it in advance because they told me that I had to read it to the judge. It couldn't be to him. So I let her read it. She said, yeah, that should be fine. So then a couple minutes goes later, I guess, around the time that I could read this, and she said, do you want to read this, or do you want to just let the judge read it? So I panicked, and I was like going back and forth so fast in my head about it. And I was like, I want to read it. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to let him read it. And then I was like, I don't want him to know what I said, even though in my head I did. I just thought it would, I don't know, for all the damage that was put on me, I was like, maybe this will freak him out because he won't know what I said. So she takes it, gives it to the judge. He reads like probably 3 sentences, stops. And I'm like, why did he stop? Like, is he not going to read the whole thing? So then he looks up, looks at me, and it was like, just the energy in the air changed. And he goes, do you want to read this? And I knew whatever I had said just kind of like hit. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. So then I got up there, I took my piece of paper, and I read it to the judge. Mind you, while the guy that assaulted me was sitting to the right. I've looked at this so many times, like I doubt I'll start crying, but when I got up there, I was like, don't cry, Rachel, do not freaking cry. Don't let him see you cry. But there were a couple parts that I got to where I couldn't hold it in. I just started like crying, and then I couldn't read the paper because there were so many tears in my eyes, but I finally got through it. But my victim impact statement says, Your Honor, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. I was asked if I wanted to make this statement, and originally I thought no. I didn't think he deserved to hear anything I had to say. Then I thought about all of his other victims who, at the moment, are too afraid to come forward with their experiences with this person. I can only speak for myself and not 100% for them, but the trauma he has put me, and I'm almost confident all the other girls through, is unbearable. This situation has affected every aspect of my life. People like him should not be allowed to walk free, especially someone who targets girls younger than 21 years old. I've come to a conclusion that he assumes these girls will be too afraid to come forward since he tries to get you drunk beforehand. But now, why would an underage girl want to come forward when they know they were being fed alcohol? They wouldn't. They would be too scared they would have to face their own consequences for drinking underage. He relies on fear to keep himself safe, but I'm not afraid. I was forced to quit my job, took a major pay cut, lost some friends who felt like family, amongst other things. All of that's okay with me. I'm pretty sure this is where I started crying. All of that is okay with me as long as me coming forward protects future victims, which I'm sure he will have. He's a serial R-word, pedophile, and S abuser. People like him don't change, but I sure hope they do. I saw him as a friend, but not after what he's done to me and so many other girls. This is for all of us and other potential victims, not just for myself. Lastly, I've always believed in forgiveness. I always put myself in a terrible situation and imagined if I could forgive the person that hurt me. I've tried to forgive him in my heart, but I don't believe he cares about what he's done, and I haven't found it within myself to forgive yet. One day, I hope I will be able to. I also hope he knows that just because he ran away to South Carolina a week after his arrest isn't going to change. Sorry, it's happening again. I can't see the paper. Isn't going to make all of this disappear. Thank you. So yeah, I had to read that in front of the judge and him. I didn't have to. I wanted to. And I'm really, really glad that I did. And it was over. I left, and I felt so much relief. Like, you don't understand how much relief I felt being through this whole situation, not knowing when it was going to end or if he was even going to get a punishment for everything he's done. Luckily, it turned out better than I thought it was going to. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video just to show you what the process is like, at least what the process was for me in my situation. Just in case you're in a similar situation and don't know what to do and don't know what the future would look like. This is what it looks like, and now that I'm out of it and at the end and just in the process of healing myself, it does get better, even though if it doesn't feel like it. I mean, I still have really bad days. Like, the past couple days, ever since I've put out these videos, I haven't really been able to eat that much. Even though all I've had was support, it still made me, like, super anxious to be this vulnerable and just put it out there for anybody to see, which, like, I don't really like putting my serious business out there like that. I just felt like I needed to, and I just felt like it was another part of my healing process. And like I said, I've always felt like I was put here for other people and not myself, and it really just seemed like a situation I could completely flip and do something good with. So that's how we got here. I think there's one more video I want to make, and I'm deciding if I want to tell what happened or not. I know I won't tell the whole situation because it's like people just don't need to know that. But there are text messages that briefly summarize the things that happened. So I'm debating on if I want to put a video like that out. I don't know if that would help other people or like trigger some people. So I might decide not to. Is that a phone? Oh no, I thought there was a phone under my bed. I was like, whose phone is that? If you've seen Euphoria. Just kidding. Also, Ashtray. I'm just getting off on a tangent right now. Anyway, I really hope this helps. I hope this helps you if you are in a similar situation and guide you with what your next move is going to be and what you want to do, and just to help give you a better idea of like how the legal system works in this kind of situation. This is just my story, so I don't know if it'll be similar for everybody, but this is just like what I had to deal with. But yeah, like I said again, I'm so appreciative for all the support. If anybody needs anything, my Instagram messages are open. I always put my Instagram in my my little like caption box thing under my videos if anybody wants to reach out and talk to me. So many people have. I've responded to everybody. Like it genuinely makes me so happy that people feel comfortable enough to come to me and talk to me and tell me their story. And even if like even if they just watched my video and couldn't relate on the same scale, like it's just so nice knowing that there's so many people out there that support you. And yeah, obviously people are gonna shit on you, but that's life and it's fine. Like, I don't know, you just kind of got to block it out, because if you have so much good flowing in, then literally the people that are talking crap, it doesn't matter. And I know it's a hard thing to like think about, but I've always just been like, hey, as long as I'm myself and genuine, I really don't give a crap about what other people are saying about me, because it's probably not true. And there's definitely a bunch of reasons why psychologically people want to make you the bad guy when there's literally no reason to do that. Okay, I'm gonna end this video now. I think this is enough. Thank you so much for watching. I might have a fourth video out, not sure. I just want to get as many videos out there that I feel like need to be, so then I can really just like, I don't know that I finished the job that I wanted to do. But yeah, thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.